Know this about mental health. I've been a psychologist for 8 years, and this is what I know. Today I want to talk about starting with the basics in order to give yourself the best chances of mental health. Mental health means being well enough or okay enough to be able to function overall. Instead of talking about mental health or not mental health or mentally healthy or unhealthy, I find that a good way of talking about it is in the terms of having a stable versus unstable mind. In today's video, I want to address what makes the difference between the two and why having a stable mind is important. To me and the myriad of intelligent and awesome psychologists I know and have read material by, having a stable mind is key. And therefore, addressing an unstable mind and restoring it is one of the most important tasks in front of us as psychologists. How to turn an unstable mind back into a stable mind has many names in psychology. Some psychologists will refer to it as taking care of the mind, others as taking care of the body in order to take care of the mind. I just call it the basics. I like how it sounds like a tool, and I find that my clients like to know what to do in more practical terms. When you're suffering from an unstable mind, you tend to be out of it and confused about what action to take, and mostly I see that people will tend to do a lot of the wrong things, which makes their condition worse. I'll therefore try to be very clear when describing the basics to my clients. The basics are what, in my experience, will give you or yourself the best chances of mental health. Doing the basics or getting them under control are what it takes to stabilize the mind. I have, in my years of practice, noticed and been confirmed in my belief about how important basics are, and also how impactful, how relevant, and how crucial it is to start with addressing the basics. What are the basics? In short term, it's managing our biological needs. It's doing what we need to do in order to be okay. If you want to know more about the basics, then check out one of my many other videos on the topic. My strong conviction of the relevance of the basics stem from I see in my clients, if the basics are not in order, they suffer greatly. I also see that without the basics in order, we cannot thrive, live meaningfully, or enjoy the joys of life. I've also noticed the pattern of that when my clients suffer, they tend to forget about or not maintain the basics. This creates a circle or wheel of mental decline. Without the basics in order, people suffer, and when people suffer, they tend to not do the basics, which leads to less suffering. Adding on that not maintaining the basics will rob us of the possibility of experiencing enjoyment. As I see, it becomes quite clear or simple. If the basics are not in order, then you're not able to function. This all sounds very depressing and hopeless. So what do we do to make a change? Well, what I've observed is that when people start to do the basics again, it changes. I'll often see that my clients' mental health improves very significantly just by getting the basics back in order. Sometimes this is enough for their recovery from mental health struggles. Other times, getting the basics in order allows for mental capacity to be able to enter into further psychological treatment with regards to mental disorders. I get that it can feel mean or frustrating that you have to work on the basics first when you feel that there are other more pressing matters. I get it. It sucks to have to get the basics in check first. Sometimes you might also believe that you can do without that it's just a matter of will or mental strength, that you should be able to just pull yourself together. I get it. But in my experience, it's not so. We cannot function without the basics, and trying to just by will or sheer force to pull ourselves together while suffering, we likely will be unsuccessful, or most often it's impossible and will lead to further hopelessness. You're human with biological needs. We cannot override that no matter how much we would like to do so. Humans are very complex, but in this matter also very simple beings. In the path to feeling better, as is usually the main goal of therapy, we need to make sure that what we attempt to do is possible in the first place. I find that we need to stop the circle or wheel of mental decline first before we can improve anything else. Or we can call it improvement by removing what's sure to cause us to suffer. We need to start with the basics, attend to them, become stable in the mind, and then use our stability as a platform to continue growing, building, and changing. A bit like common logic. First we put out the fire in the house, then we start remodeling. I think this is all we had time for. What was your takeaway from today's video? As always, feel free to take away the information you can use, if any, and leave the rest. Hopefully you found that today's topic made sense and I didn't waste your time. Please subscribe or like this video so my channel can grow. Take care and see you for the next one.